Hey all, welcome back. It is Friday as of this recording, and today we're gonna break the rules, we're gonna break the walls, and we're gonna break the glass with Shattered Glass Blurr. I was gonna say Studio Series. Shattered Glass Blurr. This guy's gonna be our focus this time around in the latest GotBot True review. Hey all, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, man, please like, comment, share, of course, subscribe, and while you're at it, light them up, baby. And hit that notification bell, please. It helps me out a ton. It lets you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, all the groups that I'm either a mod or an admin for, as well as all of my social media links. All of that's in the description down below. Also in that description, and if you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we offer to you through Teespring, or of course hit the join button right here on YouTube to become a channel member. And this is the Shattered Glass Blurr. I was able to source this through a good friend of the channel, Razor Bear. I appreciate him very, very much for helping me out with the Shattered Glass lads. Look, Shattered Glass isn't for everyone. Either you like it or you don't. I've always liked things being shattered glass. Right back to the original Star Trek, and when Spock had that goatee, that evil goatee Spock. So I've always liked shattered glass, when the bad guys are the good guys and the good guys are the bad guys. I don't need a huge collection of these. Like, I'm not looking to have everything in my collection redone in shattered glass. That's insane. I mean, it wouldn't make any sense, first of all, because the collection is huge, and secondly, I just don't have the space. But I would like to have a nice little team of Autobots and a nice little team of Decepticons. It plays right into Universal Collision, which I struggle now to kind of get time to work on. But I'm trying, man. I'm trying. But I do have a role for the Shattered Glass lads, and I love the characterization of Blurr. I think it's so cool because he gets his speed and whatnot by kind of sapping the kinetic energy of everything around him, which sometimes can be dangerous. I mean, if you're taking the energy of like a laser gun, it's probably going to go bad for you. So, what do I think of this guy? It's obviously going to be the Studio Series mold, which is why earlier I wanted to say Studio Series. It's obviously that mold. How is it going to compare to the original Blurr? How is it going to look next to his other kind of Shattered Glass team members? Well, we're about to find out when we head over to the table and take a closer look at this guy. And so, yes, here we have the first in our look at the Shattered Glass offerings. Well, kind of the first. We did already look at the 2-pack of Shattered Glass Optimus Prime and Ratchet, but for the individual releases, this came to me I guess via Pulse through our buddy Razor Bear. It is Blurr. And so things change. We're still going to do as we usually do and start off with the packaging first, but this is pretty dynamic packaging. This packaging is full of color with purples and pinks and blacks all kind of popping off of the plastic and the cardboard. We have like a bend over here. It's unfortunate that my box was sort of like janked up here a little bit. We have a bend up here. It seems like a shattered box for shattered glass. And here we have the sadistic Blurr with his eye patch and, you know, his kind of smug expression. He is Optimus's data interpreter and has the ability to steal, by the way, there's more of him here, has the ability to steal kinetic energy to increase his own speed. We actually get a bio. I think that's brilliant. Big, bright, and bold instructions, and for some reason mine came with 2 copies of it. And because it's the Pulse exclusive, we actually get the first issue of the Shattered Glass comic book. I guess the silver looks all right. I'm not usually a fan of these comics. Guido did the art though, and I'll give credit where credit is due. I think in terms of, well, I don't think Transformers translates well to comics. It's not for me, really. I do think that Guido's work is probably, arguably, among the best of the artwork for these. Not just for the modern comics, but like ever. I feel like Guido's work is the most palpable to me. There's Shattered Glass Megatron. Line work, and then the final image of Blurr. I think that's the one that's on the cover. Yeah, it is. And then over here we see some promo for some other stories. I kind of dig this idea of Transformers and Terminator. That's neat. And there you go. And here is Good Guy Autobot Blur and Bad Guy Autobot Blur. I looked at the original Studio Series 86 Blur back in episode 822. The new one is really the same thing with a different look and a new head sculpt. We have the same blaster now in gray, and underneath pegged in using two little pegs and peg holes, rectangular pegs that's on this and peg holes. We have that welder piece again. So here are the two blurs head to head, and you know what, like, it's fine, I guess. Man, I'm not gonna lie though, I love the deep blue here, and I love what looks like electricity on the front on the black. While it could just be detailing, I like to think of it as you can actually see the energy coursing through his body as he steals it, right? Then down underneath here, if you want, you can remove that. It has two little pegs right there that go into two peg holes up here. And then using the slot that's on the side of the blaster, you can put it over a rectangular peg there. So you can take those off if you want and lay them to the side. They just look like this. Bam, gray, fine enough molding, no paint. And bada bing, this one, like, same thing, same story. Okay, so we're going to kick off the transformation. We're going to do this in two steps. I'm going to do the legs and the lower body first, and then when we're able to stand him up, we'll do the rest of the upper body, which I kind of like, right? Because I like when you can stand him up. It just makes life easier. Anyway, we begin by really untabbing the arms, and they kind of tab in on these sections underneath, they tab in on the sides, and they tab into the side of the body. There's a whole bunch of areas, but you gotta kind of just pull them off. So we go in, we come to this side, and I pull it off there, I angle it out to get it off there, and I lift it off, and I pull it forward. Same over here, I need to really get it off the front, angle it out to the side, bring it down, thusly like that. We can take the lower legs now and we open them out. They can be a bit of a nuisance to unpeg from the very bottom here. If I'm lucky though, I'll be able to get it. And we take that out and untab it and bring it up. And I like to angle the foot like that, it's just easier. We untab the foot and we angle it in like that. We untab the leg, which is a bit of a bear. We bring the legs down thusly. Now we have a sliding peg here, which I shaved down on the original Blur, and a peg that is just a straight peg that pegs in. It's a bit of a nuisance to get the legs apart. It's fine once they come, but getting them apart is a bit of a nuisance. And honestly makes me a little bit nervous. The way they did that, I don't know. I don't know why they did it like that. By the way, you can push this piece up if you're so inclined. There. Whew. Got them apart. We put in I'll call it the spoiler. I really don't know what else to call it. And we bring around that leg underneath the knee. And we bring down a foot. And over here on this side, we bring this around underneath the knee. Angle that down. Bring down a foot. And now we have, for all intents and purposes, the lower body done, and we can stand the guy up. I always like when I can get a lower body done because it makes the rest of this that much easier. Bring that on his back and rotate this piece around. Then we can bring the arm down and bring this shoulder piece out. Bring the arm up and rotate it down and push it into the shoulder. So we bring this arm all the way down, bring the shoulder piece out, tab it into the body, bring it up, rotate this around at the shoulder, and bring it in. Then we can rotate at the wrist here, and bring this up over the back of the arm, and then rotate this at the wrist here, and bring it up over the back of the arm. And boom, in the end, here we have Shattered Glass Blur in his robot mode. Here we have both Blurs, good and bad, and I'm not gonna lie, the bad guys always have more fun and always look a little bit cooler. I love the look of the Shattered Glass version here. I mean, look at that sinister smirk and the damage that must be under that eye patch. And finally, just to top us off, here we have the again, I'm using the word sadistic to describe Blurr because that's what they use on the package. Next to the mad scientist, if you will, of Ratchet and the sinister and, dare I say, brutal leader of the Autobots, Optimus Prime. Formidable looking force so far. I kinda dig it, man. Kinda dig it. I also need to take a second to talk about the pieces under his arms. This one frictions up just fine, just like my Studio Series 86 Blurr, but this one over here had some issues. It did not want to stay up and kept falling down. And some of the molding, I'll say in around the opening that this black tab here is supposed to go up into, seemed a little, I don't know, it seemed a little bit malformed. So I used some Bondic and I actually thickened that up a little bit, being the slot, and I actually on the hinge where we have it here, I kind of push the pin, squat the plastic, push the pin a bit more, and I used a little bit of Bondic on the hinge because when you put that back, there's this little lip that you can feel it kind of go over. It didn't have that little lip. It was some molding issues. It didn't mold right. Now I've got it fixed, but apparently it has happened with many of these guys. So in terms of color, we're gonna say 10. I think it looks spectacular. In terms of articulation, the head can go left, right, up and down, a little bit. The arms, I'll do it with this one because this is the better one, can go all the way around, can go out to the side, like all the way, which I like. Bicep swivel, 90 degrees at the elbow. You don't really have a wrist unless you bring this all the way down and then you have a bit of a wrist. So not really a wrist. We do have a waist, and if you get the back out of the way, you got more of a waist. The two pieces being the blaster and this thing, you can still keep stored on the back underneath there. The hips go forward, the hips go back, and the hips go all the way out to the side still. We have a thigh swivel, we have for sure 90 degrees at the knee, we have an ankle tilt, and not really much back, but a little bit forward if you want because of the way the transformation is. So all of the, and that fell again, even though that's fixed now. It doesn't fall as easily, but it still falls somewhat. All of the joints and everything is there. They feel looser on him than they do on Blurr. I feel like the fit and finish on Blurr is a little tighter than it is here, and it's to Blurr's benefit. I'm going to say that the look is a 10, the articulation is about an 8. It's all there, but I wish it was tolerance slightly better. The transformation, solid 9. Honestly, I think that the transformation is great. I think it might be even better here than it is on the original. I found that, ironically, because of the joints being a little looser and whatnot, it actually allows me to manipulate the pegs and stuff a little bit more and get a little bit more movement, a little bit more flex on some things. And I do like that. So we had, say, an 8, a 9, and a 10 across the board. Overall score, Shattered Glass Blurr, I'm going to say is a solid 9. And we're back, and here he is. And, like, I love this look for him. I like the, I'm going to say it's like, you could see the kinetic energy on him. That's why you're seeing like the lightning streaks. I love the head sculpt. I adore it. I did have that one little section on the arm. Mine's a little, mine was a little jacked up there a little bit where the pin didn't feel super tight. And I think there was a little bit of a molding issue. Now I managed to fix it up as I showed there with a little bit of Bondic, and it works. But it's not the only time I've heard of that issue. And all of the joints in general are a little bit looser on this guy. Love the look. I like the transformation. I even think it's a little bit easier here than it was on the original Blurr. I still don't understand why we have like what seems like a sliding rectangular peg and then a round peg that needs to peg in. It's okay going into this mode, going out of this mode back to robot. Dealing with those legs is a little bit of a nuisance. I feel like that could have been designed a little bit better. On Blurr, the original Blurr, I did kind of shave that peg off, as I said, and I found that while it was easier to transform, the legs don't stay together quite as well as they do now with this one because I don't have that same lip there. Maybe I should have left a little bit of the lip. I like it. I think for the most part it's a success. I just wish that I didn't feel like that there was a little bit of mold degradation already going on. We have used this mold for Blur. We've now used it for Shattered Glass Blur. I think that should be the end of this one. I think it's time to retire it because I wouldn't want to see anything else get looser than it is here. I like it, but you gotta know what you're getting into, and you gotta realize that when you get it in hand, it's probably going to feel a little less fit and finish than the actual Blur was. Outside of that, I think he is an excellent addition to the Shattered Glass Autobots. He's about as evil as they're gonna come. Let me know what you think about Shattered Glass Blur. I appreciate you coming by, giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I do know, man, how important it is to you. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we offer to you through Teespring, or of course hit the join button right here on YouTube to become a channel member. Don't forget to also hit the subscribe button, and that somehow, some way, each and every single day, you right there, you do make a difference. And I look forward to the next time, baby, that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams on Thursday nights at the stop motion premieres or the old fashioned way, baby, right here inside the videos.